Morning, hope you're well. Wednesday Wobble Gob, episode 19. No, 19. Haha. Just before I start, special shout out to people in Stirling. Have you missed me? I'll come on to that in a minute. So hope everybody's well. It's been a couple of weeks since I have been here. Been a bit busy, as usual. Got over my bug that I had and beginning to fire on all cylinders again, which is kind of nice. That light's making me look like I've got a massive glowing forehead. Perhaps I have. Maybe alien. I don't know. So I hope everybody's well. Got a few updates, some little bits and pieces. Very excited about my breakfast this morning. I know I don't normally talk about food, but I've made my own granola, which is kind of exciting. So I've got my granola, pears and yoghurt. Yummy. So I thought I'd have breakfast with you all this morning. Obviously I'm not going to eat while I'm talking, so we'll move that to one side. Have discovered that when you have a hot cup of tea, don't put it underneath your webcam, as it decides to make it steamy. But maybe that could be soft focus. Who knows? It might be a big improvement. So I hope you're well. On this Wednesday we have our weather forecast. It's a bit grey this morning looking out of the window. Hopefully it might brighten up a little bit later on. Trees are very still. Weather's been a bit weird. I've had a bit of rain, not a bit of rain, but I haven't been here that much over the past week, which I'll come to in a second. So if you've been following me on Instagram or Facebook, you know that we've done a van this year. That's been our big thing because it was our 25th wedding anniversary. Woohoo! Life sentence, as Robert keeps saying it. And I've just said, poor you, you're going to get a double one at least, hopefully, fingers crossed. And we went off in the van. We had a trial run in Wigan when I went to Liverpool and everything like that. And then we went to Skinning Grove, which is on the east coast, just below Saltburn, but above Scarborough and Whitby and everything like that. It's an industrial, well, it was industrial. There's still a big steelworks there, but there was a little campsite up on the top that we stopped in. And we did, because Robert's obsessed with walking. I quite like walking, but I like a stroll. I don't like a walk. And Robert is 6 foot odd. And when he walks, I can't keep up with him. My little legs are like going... Anyway, so we went for a walk from the campsite along the coast road to Saltburn, then Marske, and then Redcar. Grabbed a bit of lunch then, a lovely little cafe that we found on the front. And then we walked back. But walking there was fine because the wind was behind us. But walking back, the wind was in our faces and it was hard work. And I was having a bit of a strop. So we went into Saltburn. Yep, Saltburn. Yep. For a drink, maybe 2. And I refused to walk back up the hill over the cliffs, so we got the bus back, which was kind of nice. So yeah, we've been out in the van. Absolutely love it. Love van life. Very handy if you're going anywhere. You need a wee. You can just pull over and have a wee. We have got a toilet. I'm not just like weeing, just generally anywhere. Yeah, so van life, super, super cool. And then we went off to, had a day with the kids on my actual anniversary. I meant to bring up the, blooming heck, the info from it. So I'll have to see if I can show it you on my phone. So it was in Manchester. And I can never pronounce the lady's name. It was Yoi Kusama, I think. You, me and the balloons. Wrong way. So this is the lady. I just have to do it on my phone. So we went up the stairs and then you went... Oh, that was outside. Oh, that's my car registration. Didn't really need to do that. Yes, so... It's all about the fact that there's dots and stars, and this was the infinity room, the fact that things go on and on and on. And these are all inflatables, and then the floor and the ceiling and the walls were all covered in dots. Kind of crazy. That's sort of like the whole room. You went up these stairs. So this was like in a cube underneath, and then when you went up the stairs, on the top here, the top cube, you looked at the other room, and these were all massive inflatables. And then these were classed as clouds. These are my 2 kids with their boyfriends laying on the clouds. It was really, really, really kind of cool. Oh, there's me. Obviously, it's like, there's me, as if you didn't know that that was me. Yes, so it was, oh, right foot. I wanted to take a picture of my right foot one here with their right foot, but I thought that the guards might have sort of body tackled me to the floor. So, yeah. And then I haven't unwrapped this box yet. So, take the card out. This is Penny Barker Vintage, who is on Instagram. I know lots of people ask me, where do I get my lace and little bits and pieces? Well, if I lived down south, I would be going to the markets that Penny does, because she always puts little tempters on her page of all the yummy things that she's taking to her market. And I get like, oh, it's not fair, I can't go. So it's definitely on my list of places to go. But every so often she has a sale on Instagram. But you've really got to be on the ball. And I usually know that she's got a sale and then forget she's got a sale, or join at the end of the sale and miss out on all the bits that I possibly would have bought. Anyway, I saw this and somebody hadn't bought it, and I was like, well, that was just meant to be. So it's a lovely box. I'm assuming these were like originally chocolate boxes, and I've not actually looked in here yet. Well, I knew it was full of lace. It's not like I've just bought a mystery box. So what have we got? So we've got some lovely, so we've got lots of bits of lace trim. Ooh, I love little bits like this when you get them. These are fantastic for popping in little bits of work, especially if it's like a corner, because it fits perfectly on a corner, or maybe a trimming at the bottom or something like that. Ooh. These are lovely. I love as well how they're not pure white. So I think sometimes it's nice to actually get bits of lace that aren't in your face. Ooh, broad young glaze. It's another word that I can't say very well. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh. Oh, look, feather. Oh, I love feather. Oh, God, that's gorgeous. Spotty feather. That's angels. Angels are here today, which is kind of nice. My feathers are my mum, which is lovely. Oh, there's so many yummy bits in here. Oh, another corner piece. Ooh. Yummy. A bit thicker. They look like... Ooh. Oh, that might have been a collar, maybe. Ooh, this is interesting. Ooh. Ooh, netting. Stuff like this is gorgeous if you've been doing a bit of work, or you use a piece of fabric and you just want to soften it down. That is stunning. Ooh, what a box of goodies. I'll tag Penny onto the blurb. I'll put the link to her Instagram. Ooh, that's pretty as well. Ooh. What a box of goodies. Just keeps on giving. Oh, love stuff like this as well that has holes in, because this is brilliant because you can thread things through the holes when you're doing it in a piece. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's still got a tag on it. 3 yards for 1 5.5. What is it? Oh, it's like a little like ribbony lace. Ooh. Ooh. Oh wow. What a box of yummies. Yummies, and oh, look at those. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, so pretty. Oh, so I thought I'd share that with you this morning. Nice start to the morning. Oh, love bits like this as well. You start chopping out motifs and things. I think it's always good, like you get a box like this that's all bits and pieces, because it's already been cut up, so you don't get that precious over stuff. You know what I'm like with your preciousness. Stop keeping it, start using it. Oh, so that's a box of yummies. That'll keep me going for ages. That's kind of cool. So that's my box of yummies. with a feather. That feather's just beautiful. So that's Penny Barker Vintage. Like I say, I'll pop a link to that. And then the big thing, which is what I'd mentioned earlier on, hi Sterling, have you missed me? I was invited to teach up at summer school, along with 3 other tutors. So I need to go a big shout out to Pat, Ashton Smith, Jenny O'Leary and Heather Lewis. We had a great week last week, intense. I'm still tired today, had some massive night sleeps since I've come back, but basically it was their summer school where there's lots of different groups in Scotland that come together for a summer school at Stirling University, and it runs from the Wednesday afternoon to the Sunday afternoon, and Pat did one workshop that ran the whole time, but the rest of us did 2 workshops that went from Wednesday evening to Friday lunchtime. Some people went home then, some people arrived, and then the rest came Friday afternoon till Sunday afternoon. So it was incredibly intense. Lot of hard work, lot of chat, lot of laughter. So I thought I'd show you what we did. So my first workshop was one of my ones, it's one of my favourite workshops, which is print, collage and stitch. I don't think this is all going to fit in, but anyway, this was my teaching sampler. So what I did was I demonstrated as I went along, but created a sampler that showed all the stages. So it's not a finished piece, it's just one for teaching. So we spent an evening printing, and it's all paper, there's no fabric in this one at all. This is where I sort of started with all my textiles, was working with paper rather than fabric. I think because I've got an art degree, and I love working with paper and printing, it was a case of mashing the stitch in with that as well. And it's surprising how robust it is. We do put a little backing on just to give it a little bit of strength, but it is mainly the paper that holds it all together. So we started printing, then we machine stitched, then we spent a lot of time making lots of different bits and pieces. Then stitching those on, and then embellishing with other bits and pieces, and then finishing off with hand stitch. And it was lovely because we ended up doing like a little mini exhibition of the pieces. And if you go onto, like I say, my Instagram and Facebook, you'll see everybody's work. Because the beauty with this is you put your hanging on, and at any point you can hang it on the wall and say it's finished, and then take it back off again and carry on working on it. But it's just such a lovely project to do, and just working with different things. There is a tiny little bit of fabric there, and you can add bits of lace. I'm not saying that you can't add fabric. The other bit of fabric is this bit here, but this is actually the wet wipe that we use to clean the stamps. It's always a good thing of doing that, because if you're doing printing or anything like that, clean things with a wet wipe and you end up with a piece of fabric that matches the colours that you've been using. So we used all sorts of different papers: wallpaper, wrapping paper, book paper, dressmaking, patterns, deli papers with them being a bit translucent, all sorts. And the second you start putting print on, you get like a cohesive collection of things. And because it's paper, you're not as precious over it, and you will rip it up. So we printed, did loads of beautiful printing, then got up the next morning. So the printing was we were joking about, that was bringing out the inner child, printing and playing. Then the next morning we got out our aggression because we ripped everything up, and then we healed by putting it all back together again. So that was the first workshop. That was lovely. And then the second workshop was based on, and it came out of when we went into lockdown, when I did this really, really long scroll. So it's the stitch scroll, like slow stitching, which everybody kept joking about, saying like slow stitching is brilliant, but you sit slow stitch and time actually seems to go faster, because it does take quite a long time to do it. So obviously we didn't do everything that's on the scroll. And if anybody wants to have a go at this, it is still on my YouTube channel. There's all the videos for that there. So we did a mini version. So again, I did a teaching sample. So this is my little teaching sample here. So again, very similar to the last one, to the paper one, but this one definitely is all fabric. But because you're working with fabric, you can make lots of different things, and we took quite a time making all the different elements. So we started off collaging our fabrics together, no machine stitching with this one at all, and then just tacked everything. Then spent quite a bit of time making Suffolk puffs, hexes, paper piecing. We did some tatting, wrapped rings, and making Yorkshire buttons, but not using them as a button, using them flat. And then started adding bits of lace and buttons and fastenings and all those sort of things. And then it's a case of, once you've got that groundwork down, it's the hand stitching. It's the hand stitching that really brings it together and draws it into one actual piece. And again, we sort of placed them on our bobbins so that they looked like they were finished. And then it has a backing piece that's going to cover the back. Backing, it clues in the title. So yeah, so that was an absolutely amazing few days. Exhausting but amazing. And it was just the ladies that definitely made it. It was such a giggle, and I just started terrorising everybody because Wobble Gob went into full on Wobble Gob mode, which was kind of nice. But on the Friday, tutors got a little bit of free time, so we were told about Kaleidoscope, who I have seen their stand at Knit and Stitch. They have a fantastic book range, but beautiful batik fabrics. And I went with the intention of not buying anything. Well, I went to buy white cotton and then didn't come with any white cotton, and then I got these bits plus some bits that I used in my actual piece. So the blue bit that I've got on the backing was one of the pieces, and then I actually did get some printed pieces because they did sort of match. They were selling off a lot of fat quarters for like £2 or £1 and stuff, so it'd have been rude not to have bought any. So I did buy a few little bits and pieces that I did use in my stash, but I have cut into it and it will go into my use it up stash. But I've got these ones, few of them maybe for next year's project. Ooh, the stitching hour. I'm busy finishing off filming the 52 stitches because I can't start, well, I've planned next year's projects for the subscriptions, but I can't start them yet. I have to get this year's finished. So I'm hopefully going to get some more done today, and then once I've done that, I can start putting everything together for the 52 challenge next year and the stitching hour challenge. So keep an eye out for that coming out. So I ended up getting some few bits of fabric. This is stunning, absolutely beautiful. Then I got some bits just because I quite liked the colours, not necessarily because I've got an idea of a project in mind or anything like that, but maybe I have. Ooh, secrets. Yes, so went there, spent money. Oops, got a stroke. Yeah, so that was Scotland. Sorry for terrorising everybody. Yeah, I did that really because my group needed a bit of a break from me. I think it's a bit full on, isn't it, really? Anyway, so yeah, so that was Scotland, and they'll be really chuffed to know that I'm coming up again next year to go to their gathering, which is like our regional day that we have down here. So I'm going up there then, so I will catch up with most of you, and hopefully see some of you maybe at Knit and Stitch and things like that. And then for last week of the holidays, really, I'm going back to work next week. So on Thursday, that's tomorrow. That's the thing, you see. Worked all weekend, worked Sunday, bank holiday Monday, and again I've no idea what day it is, so it's Wednesday today. Well, I'm doing Wobble Gob Wednesday, aren't I? So I really should know. Oh, dearie me. I think I just need a holiday. Anyway, going back to work, and then September, so I've got this weekend off. I'm having a weekend off because the following few weekends I've got a brand new workshop that I'm running in my shed, which I'm very excited about, which is mono screen printed gardens. So keep an eye out for that. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that will go well and I'll run it again next year. Then the lovely Ali Ferguson is coming down. She was due earlier in the year but ended up with COVID, so she's coming down for a 2-day workshop. And then it's Yarndale in Skipton, which I'm very excited for. I've still got a few bits of that just to finish off. I'll be taking my new new templates. New templates will be launched at Yarndale, which is kind of exciting. And then once I've done Yarndale, I'll get them on my website. You can still get tickets for Yarndale if you can come to Skipton. I'm doing a solo trip out in the van. I'll say solo. It's solo for one night and then my daughter's coming up. So those of you that came out last year and met Neve, my youngest daughter, so hopefully she'll be with us. And my friend Jane as well. So hopefully if you are coming to Skipton, you do need to get tickets, I think, beforehand. I think the morning tickets might be sold out, but it's still worth coming. And they do Yarndale online, which I think you get links to all the different vendors that are there with links to their websites and stuff. And I think there are little workshops you can look at and things like that with the online bit. I know that I got an email, there are some talks this year at Yarndale, so you can book tickets for talks, and there's workshops as well, so there's all sorts goes on. So it's very, very exciting. So I'm going to look forward to my weekend off, try and recuperate, and then we're kicking off the autumn series, which is a little bit scary, of workshops that are coming up. And I've started putting on my website as well workshops for 2024, and I'm doing a newsletter over the weekend that'll come out on my blog sometimes next week. So my newsletter's slightly different because people were subscribing and I was sending my newsletter out as an email. It's now got too expensive for doing that, because if I was sending emails out every week and stuff like that, it would be fine, but I do them maybe every 2 or 3 months, and it's got that it's hundreds of pounds to be able to send them out. So what I just decided to do for now is, if you go to my website and go to my blog, that's where all my newsletters will be, and I just put a thing out on my social media just to say that there is a newsletter that's come out. So if you want to pop over and have a read, it's a little bit like a written Wobble Gob. So some of the stuff is repeated with what I do in Wobble Gob, some of it's a bit different, some it'll have links to different sorts of things, and there might be things on there that I've forgotten to say. Yeah, so that's it. Wobble Gob Wednesday. Oh, wellness. We haven't done a wellness for quite a while. I think wellness, yeah, at the moment we need to think wellness. I'm coming to the end of the summer, so I need to appreciate my job and the fact that I get 6 weeks off in the summer. I'm very, very lucky, and I've never complained about teaching and anything like that. I mean, it's one of the reasons that I chose to be a teacher, is because I knew I wanted a family, which meant that I've had lots of time with my girls. They don't necessarily want to spend time with me now, seeing as though they're 17 and 21, but it just gives me an opportunity to spend time with them, and I'm really, really grateful for that. Finding a feather, it's just an omen. It's my mum looking down on me, and it's 20 years since she passed away, unfortunately. But I love it when I see a feather, because I just think she's looking down on me, and I do appreciate every second that I had with her. And what else am I thankful for? I'm just thankful well, I suppose for all the people that I meet. I suppose that's the other thing about doing this, is going out and doing workshops. I meet such fantastic people and make so many friends and acquaintances that are all bonkers, or not so bonkers, but all have a thing in common, is the fact that we just love Stitch. So I'm really thankful to everybody out there for just sharing the passion with other people and just having a go. So there we go, Wobble Gob Wednesday. Not sure when I'll be back with the next one, because we're back onto full-on work next week, so I might leave it a few weeks and then come back and do a big roundup of my new workshop and Ali's workshop and whatever I've been doing. So I will see you at some point in September, my lovelies. Have a fabulous Wednesday, keep stitching, and Wobble Gob signing off. Mwah!